Hey, 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 people of God, women, seers of God. I am out here just taking a walk in my neighborhood, and I was just talking to the Lord because earlier today, there was some things that I had some questions about, and the Lord was just bringing back to my attention some things that I kind of forgot about myself, and I just wanted to share with y'all because I believe I'm not the only one that can relate to this thing in particular, regarding the topic that I put, actually, which is your prophetic nature is salty. So the Bible describes us as being the salt of the earth, and because we are the salt of the earth, we can be salty. you know we don't Sugar decays and salt preserves. God preserves his word, and he's all about preserving, and he's the God that preserves. So when we're talking about preserving and we're talking about the salt, anything that is contrary to that is not God, right? So like I said, sugar decay, but salt preserves. And so I had a situation where it's like I was trying to find the right words to use to communicate with a specific person. And as I was trying to find the words, I was I was trying to I found myself trying to kind of sweeten it up or say it a certain way, because when we're talking to people or when certain situations and things arise, our human response, it's a natural human response to think about somebody else's feelings, and when it comes down to certain things, right? Like, we want to make sure we're not, when we say things, that we're not hurting them, or we're not offending them. And so naturally we can immediately go into protection mode, where we're wanting to protect them more than anything. And so that's what I was doing. I was trying to find the words to say what I needed to say, and it just wasn't coming out right. I couldn't find them. I couldn't sweeten it up, or I couldn't, like, beat around the bush. But and so that's when the Lord spoke to me and reminded me, like, your prophetic nature is straightforward. The way that and I know everybody may not be like this, but the way that God has built myself, and I know a lot of other people, it's hard when it's time to confront something, when it's time to deal with things, or when God want to use you in a certain way, that we can think that, oh, something is wrong because I can't sugarcoat it, or think that yourself is judgmental, because a lot of times you could be judged as, oh, this person is judgmental, they're critical, but we got to understand that that's the prophetic nature. Because remember, God is straightforward. Yes, he's a God of love, but when God really want to get something to us, or get our attention, or bring certain words through us, then we can't filter that thing. We got to let it flow, and we got to let it flow with salt, y'all. Because when you try to do it your way, it's not gonna be right, because the devil is bold. He's really bold, and he and for this particular situation that I was in, it was like he was bold. And so the Lord was like, no, you see how bold the enemy is being. You too have to be bold in the same way to bring correction to the situation and a solution. Especially when it comes down to business, when it comes down to ministry, we really have to not learn to not beat around the bush with certain situations and things, so that we won't have, hello, his neighbor, so that we don't, what is the word, so that we can continue to grow in business, because when you're in leadership, you have to lead well. We have to lead well. And when we're trying to do things, we have to, if we're not leading well, you can create a bad track record. Or, yes, if you start off right, it'll end right. But if you start off wrong, it'll end wrong. And that is so true, y'all. That is so true. So your prophetic nature. Your prophetic nature is salty. Your prophetic nature is salty. And many may not agree with that. And many may even think that you are, or can confuse you as being hardcore, or, like I said earlier, critical. But really, it's our nature. I mean, if we don't do it, then who will? I hope that makes sense. And I really hope somebody is understanding what I'm saying right now. I hope that makes sense. We got to be the salt. We are the salt. We are the salt. And we have to arise and not let the enemy snatch our voices, and not let him muzzle us. Because we're the salt. We have salt. Our words, the words of life that God has put in us, that prophetic word, that prophetic voice that he has put in you, is not meant to be muzzled. It's not meant to be sugar coated, because it's not going to be effective. It's not going to be as effective as it is, that's preserved, that is salty, as a word that God has preserved. Like when you're cooking, if you don't season that meat right, if it's not seasoned like it should be, listen, that meat's not going to be as good. So it's the same way. It's the same way. And I'm like, oh my goodness, why can't I find, I'm trying to find the right words. I'm trying to, I'm trying. But it just wasn't coming out right. And the Lord had to remind me, like, listen, you're a prophet. It ain't going to come out right. It's not in me. Now, not to say that God can't use us with wisdom. Now, this is a case-by-case basis. Because there is times where God will say, listen, I need you to use wisdom. I'm going to give you wisdom when you give this word. Yes, case-by-case basis. So, but in the context of what this particular case was, he didn't want me to do that. He wanted me to be straightforward. Because if not, then we would have continued to have issues, recurring issues. So God bless y'all. I hope you guys are having an awesome, blessed Tuesday. And I do plan on coming back on here with different topics and things that I have planned. And I'm excited of what God is doing in this season, and what I see him doing with his people, in particular seers and prophets and people that are prophetic. So I just wanted to share that with y'all, and I hope you guys have an awesome and blessed day. God bless y'all. See y'all later.